Okay, in this short tutorial, I am going to show you 3 different ways to annotate electronically in Microsoft Word. So the first way is just a simple, you are inserting comments. But in order for me to see those comments, because they are the same font color as the rest of the font, you need to change it somehow. And you can do that one of 2 ways. You can either change the font color. My professor at Stony Brook uses purple. So you can either use purple or you can change it back and just simply use a highlighter. Okay. You can continue that way throughout the rest of the document if that's how you want to do that. So just make sure that as you are typing your thoughts about this article onto paper, onto the document, not paper, virtual paper, that you are making sure that everything is consistent. So if I use purple, but it's hard to see, I need to go back and change it to make it more visible. And how do I do that? Well, I can either highlight it in addition to keeping it purple, or I can make it bold. I am going to change it to a different color purple because it's closer to, there we go, closer to black. It was closer to black. So these 2 ways are pretty noticeable. If I open your file and I see highlighting, I know that that's a comment that you are making. If I see a different color font, I know that that's a comment that you are making. So that's one way to annotate your file. Another way to do that is to go to the Review tab, go to Track Changes, click on Track Changes. Now what's going to happen is when you, sorry about my dogs, when you start to type your comment in there, it changes the font color for you. So you can simply just type whatever it is that you want to type, and you can move on, and you won't have to worry about the extra steps of having to go up and change the font color yourself. Now, I do have a student who mentioned that this doesn't work for her because the font color stays the same. That does depend on which version of the Microsoft Office suite that you have. Mine, luckily for me, changes it. Another way that you notice if yours doesn't change the font color, you will see these marks over here in the margin. That means that you have changed something in that paragraph or in that location, and you can identify it, or you should be able to identify it. Okay? So that is how you can use track changes to your advantage. Now I'm going to undo that again. Sorry. All right, and this time, instead of using track changes, I'm going to make sure my cursor is in the spot where I want to type the comment. I'm going to go back to the Review tab, and this time I'm going to just click on New Comment. And what this does is that it creates a comment, but not in the body of the article. Instead, it pops out over to the side in the margins. So if you don't want to create your comments in the body of the paragraph, this is an easy way to be able to create those comments somewhere else. But knowing that you can still, and you have to do it every single time. So with track changes, I never turned that off. With the new comment, you have to do it every time you want to make a comment. With track changes, you don't have to do that because every time you make a comment, it automatically changes that font color for you and marks the margin over on the left-hand side. So in essence, there are 3 ways to mark up your Word documents. You can manually go and change the font color or highlight yourself, or you can go to the Review tab and use track changes, or you can again go to the Review tab and use New Comment. Remember, for each comment that you make, you have to create a new comment. So you have to click this every single time. just so you know. So if you have any questions, you can shoot me an email.